Hi, how are ya? I'm Nora, and this is Rating My Reads. I think this is the first time I've worn makeup on this channel. Wow. I've had this channel for like a while now, and I haven't worn makeup on it. Unless it's a vlog. I might have worn one in a vlog. I'm not entirely sure. Whatever. But today, I wanted to talk to you guys about getting out of a reading slump, because I have been in a reading slump since the start of August. I have read one graphic novel, which was My Riot, and I've read Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman, which is a novella. And I have a huge TBR pile. I have about 30 books on my TBR pile at the moment, and that is just physical books. We're not counting the Knack Alley books, because that is too much and will make me cry. But yeah, I'm in a reading slump, and that is okay. I have decided that it's okay. I'm going to give you some tips on how to get out of a reading slump, because nobody wants to be in a reading slump. It is one of the worst feelings. Let's start. Tip number 1 is to try reading an audiobook. Audiobooks are a great way to get out of a reading slump because you're not taking it in the same way. It means it's a new experience for you to get on board with these books, if that makes sense. It's a new experience to try and read books, is what I meant to say. Tip number 2 is rereading a book you love. Rereading your favorite books or a book you love always helps me get out of a reading slump. I have not done it yet because I just couldn't be bothered. And if you couldn't be bothered, then tip number 3. That's 4. Shit. Tip number 3, that is 3 this time. Try reading a smaller book. So like a graphic novel, a comic, or even just like a 200-page novel. Hopefully that'll help you get out of a reading slump. I have tried reading Cruel Crime, which is by Victoria Avard. It's 2 short stories in a small book. It's like this thin, and I couldn't read it. I'm telling you ways to get out of a reading slump, but also telling you ways I cannot get out of a reading slump, which is always fun. Unhaul. Number 4. This is actually number 4. Unhaul some books, because you don't always want to read the books that you've got. You might buy them because other people are interested in them, or you might buy them because you think you're interested in them and you think you'll get around to reading it, but you never do, and then you have a bunch of books that you want to read or have to read because you have it on your TBR pile, and it gives you anxiety. And unhaul those books, please. Just unhaul them. Give them to charity, give them to people you know if they want to read them, but do not keep them for the sake of keeping them. If you don't want to read them, don't read them. Tip number 5 is bring a book with you everywhere you go, or 2 books. Small books, preferably, but not chunky books, because chunky books take up a lot of space, and it means that you have to try and get into this world, and it's just a lot to deal with, and I understand that, and I shouldn't try and read chunky books, but I do try and read chunky books because I like chunky books, but I probably shouldn't, because I need to focus a lot more with chunky books, and if I read a thinner book, smaller book, or a comic, or a graphic novel, or a novella, then it's much easier to like get through the book. Like, for example, I read Nick and Charlie a couple of weeks ago. It was like in the first week of August, second week of August, and we're like in the last few days of August currently. But I read that a couple of weeks ago, and I read it in one sitting, within like half an hour, and it was great. It was an illustrated novella, and it was absolutely great. And I just haven't picked up a book since. Tip number 6 is take a break from reading. Try not to read for like a day or 2, then come back to it with a fresh mind. I have not done that yet. I probably should do that, but I haven't read for weeks now, and I feel so bad that I just feel like I need to read all of the time. But if I took a day and just didn't read, chose not to read, chose to do other activities instead, then maybe I'll feel a bit better about myself, and it means that in the future, when I do try and read, then I'll be able to pick up a book more easily, because it's just going to be that much easier because I haven't been forcing myself to try and read it. And lastly, number 7 is to remember you are not at fault for being in a reading slump. You read because that's what you love doing, and sometimes you don't feel like doing that, and that is okay. You just need to take a break. Just remember that your mental health is more important than reading a book, because sometimes you get in a reading slump and it happens, and that's fine, but there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, a lot of people hate reading slumps, but sometimes they can be a good thing. They can tell you that you need to slow down and you need to breathe and you need to do something else other than reading, because sometimes reading can get a bit much and it can feel like a lot of pressure on you. And reading slumps are there and they help you understand that you need to take a break. I hope some of that made sense. If it did, please let me know if you tried any of my tips. I will be doing a video soon on a day in the life of how to get out of a reading slump. I know this is tips on how to get out of a reading slump, but I want to do a vlog in which I actually try these tips that I've given you, and I will link that below, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos by me, click the subscribe button because I am great, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.